It's January 18, 2025, and people are saying that TikTok will be banned for good tomorrow. Now, I don't know if that's true, but what I do know to be true is that it's that time of the year where all of the email marketing gurus are popping out of their holes to telling you, I told you so. Hi there, my name is Evelyn Weiss. I did over 6 million in online sales, heavily supported by email marketing, currently have a list of over 60,000 subscribers. And instead of rubbing things in your face, I want to create a video demystifying email marketing, telling you everything I wish I knew when I was starting out 5 years ago, and then also giving you the steps to get your list growth started, going, and then monetize your list. If that sounds fair, then stick around and let's jump right in. Okay, before I go into the things that you probably don't understand about email marketing, let's quickly talk about why you are looking for email marketing without knowing that you're looking for email marketing. Most people that come into the online space, right, that want to be coaches, course creators, content creators, school community owners, membership owners, an experience worker of some sort, they are looking for freedom, but in all the wrong places. And I know why. It is such a cool idea to be someone with a huge Instagram following or a large YouTube channel. There are very complex funnels and group monetization models, and all of it is so exciting and all of it seems so logical and so compelling. But most of these things actually are not built to give you real freedom. Think about it. If you are on a platform like Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, right, you become a commodity. These platforms don't care about you as a creator, and they don't care whether or not you're developing a relationship with your subscriber. They're commoditizing your content by creating curated feeds to increase the retention of the user on the platform to be able to feed them more ads. Has nothing to do with you. When people are subscribed to you and they want to see your content, the platform still decides that it bets on another person's content to retain the user longer on the platform. So in a very real sense, they're actually working actively against you building a relationship with your subscriber. And with that, you will always be dependent on pleasing the algorithm. You're just one hack, like it unfortunately happened to one of my students in my mastermind, away from losing your entire presence on a platform. And if you don't have email, you literally have no safety net. Now, why email? Email is the boring, old-fashioned, stale option, but it actually is pretty exciting. Why? Email has been around for decades and it barely changed. That means compared to the other online marketing efforts we have, this is very volatile. Email is very stable, right? It's always the same. And that's an amazing thing. When you were thinking about quitting your job, or maybe you quit your job, you probably did it because it was repetitive, it was not exciting, you wanted to be more flexible. But when you are in more uncertainty for a while, all you crave is a sense of security and stability and certainty. And email can offer that a lot more, right? Because people are actually subscribed to your list and there is no curated feed between you and them. So if you want, in a very real sense, email is the last resort, the last defense of the subscriber in online marketing. And with the reduced volatility, the increased stability, and the control that you have because you own the list, it is what actually provides you with the freedom that you crave, even if it's boring. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go into the misconceptions, the things that I wish I understood about email marketing when I started. So number one is that email marketing is really, really slow, but it compounds like crazy. When I started out back in 2020, I was coming out of a one client business that failed because we lost that one client. After that, I built a freelancing and Facebook advertisement business that was relying again on platforms Fiverr and Upwork, and a little bit of word of mouth that I was able to build up. So when I eventually saw an opportunity for me to venture into online education, because I had discovered certain advertisement and funnel tactics that worked well from e-commerce in the online education field for coaches, course creators, etc., I knew I want to start by building my list. So I used Facebook ads with a strategic freebie. It was created like a filter to bring in the right type of people on my email list first, with a lead generation campaign. And then from the thank you screen of that second, I was growing my Facebook group. And so in the first months, I was actually able to monetize, but it was not from my email list. It was from Facebook, from the posts on my personal page, from my efforts in a community, jumping on calls with people, helping them building the relationship directly through social media. When I was about 3 months in, I remember looking at my list because I was tracking list growth as a data and how many emails I sent, etc. And I was like, wow, I wonder why everyone is saying that the money is in the list, because there's literally no money in my list. And I'm like really consistent with it. And I sent them a lot of amazing free stuff and report like, why is this not clicking for me? I had heard things, and I know of studies, right? And I know it from e-commerce as well, that for every dollar you put in, you get 42 back. Well, I was not even getting anything back, right? My email list was very, very far away from being profitable. Remember, I grew it with ads back then, and I was almost ready to give up on it. Well, the good thing for me, the very, very lucky accident that I have, and where I'm still so grateful for it that it happened, was that I accidentally created a self-liquidating offer for myself. So when I was serving members in my free group, I asked them if they want to have workbook templates, and I made them for them and eventually provided them for download, and I gave people the option to buy me a coffee. Well, it happened that on that day from my group that I was able to grow with ads to about 1,000 people in a month, 100 people bought me a $7 coffee as a thank you. So I knew that I had created something of value. And basically what I then did was switching from a lead generation campaign to a sales campaign optimizing for purchase, sending people to the opt-in for my freebie. And on the thank you page, I offered my workbook. I eventually added an order bump and a one-click upsell, and my ads, my list growth efforts were self-liquidating. If that would have not happened, I probably would have given up on list growth and email marketing altogether, which is like, when I'm thinking back now, how close I was on the edge to doing that and losing this huge asset. Like it actually freaks me out to just think about that. But luckily, I ran into this and I just kept my email marketing efforts going. I still didn't really show up consistently because I still didn't feel the reward from it. It wasn't until almost a year after I started, I lost my ad account. It got shut down. I tried to get it back, but it took 1.5 months. In that 1.5 months, I was more resourceful and I turned back to my email list and I got a little bit more serious about it. So I was really putting my heart and my brains into the messages that I sent. And eventually, although I didn't hit the revenue like I did the month before, I was able to sell a workshop and grow my email list on the back end of that and actually increase my profitability because I didn't have the Facebook ads on the other end. So that's what was when I was really having a shift in my mindset and in my beliefs about email marketing. And I was realizing how powerful it could be, right? I got a taste of it. And then I never stopped sending emails. And I started to take it seriously from that day. And I kept being consistent with it for the following years to come. And in the following years, I had multiple 6-figure launches and even multiple 6-figure launches to that email list that I kept growing and nurturing, and it turned into the most profitable channel of my business. Last year around this time in February, we competed in the school games to diversify our traffic sources, right, and de-risk ourselves because we were very, very, very dependent, uncomfortably dependent on Facebook. We used mainly our email list, only in the last 2 days of the games also ads, to fill up our new community there. And we did $81,000 in new monthly recurring revenue from the email list. So over the years, it compounded in profitability like crazy. And I realized what all of those people were saying when it comes to, the money is in the list. But I was having unrealistic expectations, as in how long, how consistent I need to show up for it. Now, the second misconception that I had was that email marketing is super technical. And I was weirdly afraid of it, although I had built websites and I didn't, think that I'm not a technical person. But when I started to learn about email marketing, I would follow some people and then I would see those fancy long sequences with if and when and goals that were in the sequence. And I got so intimidated by that. At one point, I wanted to hire somebody for $5,000 a month just to do my email marketing automations. And I'm so grateful for my husband that he stopped me back then, because eventually, just purely out of what was doable for me, I just ended up with broadcasting to my list. What is broadcasting? A fancy word for everyone gets the same email, okay? That was good enough, more than good enough to build a wildly profitable email list. It just needed to be consistent and, next point, actually valuable, right? What does actually valuable mean? We're all throwing around the word value like we know what we're talking about. Let me tell you what my subscribers find truly valuable. I've shared this in a few videos, but now it's a method that I'm teaching my members. I recommend that as you set an ambitious goal for yourself and you are on that growth journey and start to monetize it, if you don't know what I'm talking about and you need a plan for this, watch my one-pager business plan video. As you're doing this, you want to document that journey. Now, again, something that everyone throws around, but we're like, how do we operationalize it? Super, super simple. Every evening, every evening, sit down for 5 minutes, use the free version of Loom, that's a screen recording tool, and just talk out all the experience that you had on this day, reflect on this day, as it is also relevant for your audience, for that shared goal that you have with your audience. Then you can take this prompt that we're going to put somewhere here, which is the 10-minute nurture email prompt, and you can translate that experience that you had into a valuable nurture email. Now, here's the thing. The really successful email marketers, they don't stop there. What I see, unfortunately, what people do is they go through the exercise, strip it, send it. And when I receive some of these emails, I'm like, did you read this before you send it? Not because it's not grammatically correct, right? When it comes out, I recommend Claude for this. When it comes out, it's grammatically perfect, but it's soulless. One thing that I don't have no empirical evidence for, but that I know to be true, is that we want to only say things we know to be true. We feel them to the depth of our being from our experience. So we want to talk from a place of genuine knowing. And those are the types of messages that we want to share. Think about it. You're blasting, right? Broadcast a message to the world, to people who subscribe to your opinion, to your thoughts, to your journey. How disrespectful of their time is it to send them something you barely reviewed that AI quickly wrote? It's better to send nothing, because that way we even rob them of their time. It's a disservice to them, and it's also a disservice to you, because where the power is in that process that I shared with the nurture email is that it's a reflective practice for you. You, as somebody who wants to monetize their experience, productize and sell it, you have to have quality of thought. And the highest quality of thought you can have is writing. Writing is high quality thought. And when you're putting in the time to at least edit, right, that message, and make sure that what you're saying is true and it is not shallow and it is conveying the actual thing that you want to say, not only will you deeply reach someone, but you will also become a provider of insight for them, and you will grow in your insight, right? It will make you more articulate because you have articulated yourself once. It will make you more knowledgeable because you have consolidated your experience into knowledge. It's the foundation for your frameworks. It's the foundation for your offers and products. If you want to be a well-paid online educator, coach, course creator, content creator that monetizes through digital products or any other way, that's the work on yourself that you need to do. That's kind of the depth of thought that you need to be able to produce. And again, if you're just blasting something I created, which I see like daily in my inbox, it's just a disservice to your subscriber, and it's a disservice to you, and it will not compound into the same result. So the message is more important than any elaborate technique or sequence or the technical setup. If you're completely overwhelmed with the technical setup, you can hire someone to set up your domain verification, which is like also super simple, and there's a ton of tutorials out there. And your DMARC, you can just hire someone very affordably on Fiverr or Upwork to do this for you once, and you never have to think about it again. But what you do have to think about is what you're actually saying in the emails. And that gets me to the next point. Next point is, again, demystifying sequences and automations, right? I have 2 automations. One is going to my workshop replay, which my workshop is currently my freebie. The other one is going to the live workshop, and I'm just switching once a month between both of them. The automations look like this. Subscriber gets added to a group. Subscriber receives welcome email. That's it. I used to have welcome sequences and templates and follow-up sequences for purchases. These days, I am actually not working with self-liquidating offers at the moment anymore. I've simplified everything back to having one strategic freebie, which is my workshop, one welcome email, and everything else gets sent from the moment. Now, don't get me wrong. When I am selling or promoting something, I am thinking about and mapping out a sequence, as in, on this day, I need to send this email. On this day, I need to send this email. Typically, it's anywhere between 2 to 7 days. I have a cheat sheet for myself that we can put up somewhere here. And I know like roughly the topic of the email. But then I also go and I write the email on that day, because then I can lean into the vibe and the atmosphere and what's coming up for me. And again, I'm just able to connect with people and communicate on a much more meaningful level. I actually learned this the hard way in a couple of launches. So back in 2023, I tried to build my team, right? Because I was growing really rapidly. We were doing over 3 million in sales, first from 1 million to 3.2 million, I think. And that was rapid growth. So I tried to build a bigger team and structure everything. And so the team wanted me to prepare the launch emails ahead so they could, read it and know exactly what will be said. And so they don't have to look on that day. And when I started to pre-write the emails, I noticed that they were significantly less effective than the ones that I wrote following a schedule, but I really wrote them from and for the moment and the people. Those were just hitting differently, right? People were clicking differently, they were converting differently, people were sending answers to those emails versus the emails I prepared. I did not get the type of answers I would usually get. It was not a thank you for this email. This was really eye-opening. I'm glad you're in my world. It was like, stop sending me so many emails. So there was definitely a disconnect. And it was because I was missing the opportunity to lean into the moment. So recommending a schedule, but then also I recommended you leaning into the moment. If you've done your consistent nurture, you will have the stamina and skill set and muscle to do it in that moment. The second time that happened was in the school games. We had this theme with like ancient Rome, Roman Empire, and I was like really leaning into that. And I was trying to write the wittiest, smartest, most compelling, most convincing sequence ever. And because I had prepared it all, back then my team was still bigger, I again noticed the same thing. I eventually stopped sending the emails I had prepared, and I was just jumping back into the moment and leaning into what I was feeling from the audience and really leaning into the conversations I witnessed and the vibe that I was feeling, and the sales went up again. It's really about listening and having that conversation with people. And it's about really, really practicing that. So it's a lot about having that empathy and having that attention to that moment, like really leaning into it and then capturing the sentiment. And you'll only be able to do that if you are doing it on that day. It will just happen to be a lot deeper because you are in that emotion of the day, and that will reach people better and connect better with them. And I know it sounds woo-woo, but I can just tell you that it's what ultimately worked for me. That was another thing I really had to learn the hard way. Last but not least, the thing that I want to talk about is the quality of the subscriber and why we're happy when people unsubscribe. So subscriber quality will come a lot from two things: your traffic quality and then the quality of your filter. So the traffic quality is basically, where's your traffic coming from? Is it coming from organic, from your YouTube video, or from your Instagram, or from a TikTok? Or is it coming from paid ads? Now, naturally, paid ad traffic is higher quality because Facebook and Google, which were the main paid traffic sources that I used, they know what a lead looks like. And the lead, we have the awareness, consideration, conversion. The lead for them is right in that consideration bucket. So those platforms, because they have so much data about it, they know pretty well where somebody is in a buying journey. And so I found that the leads that I get through paid traffic need a shorter time to be nurtured than the ones coming from organic traffic. Now, when we're looking into organic traffic, we also see that there's a mixed quality. So when somebody was coming from YouTube, from my YouTube videos, I could also see that they typically needed a shorter time for conversion, but that was usually because they spent so much time with me on my video, right? So if the video was at a topic that is really relevant for my audience and it was a good filter, the traffic that would come from YouTube would be the second best after paid advertising. And then the traffic that I would get from other efforts like bundles or summit, that was actually the lowest quality traffic. Now, not all summits and all bundles are made equal. I want to say that. I have been in a couple of summits and bundles that were good traffic quality. But here's the thing, because typically people who do these bundles and summits, they do them year over year, time over time. And often the people contributing to this use bundles and summits as their main growth mechanisms. There often is a big advantage for you in doing them once, but then not a big advantage for you in doing them multiple times. And if you're somebody who's investing in paid traffic to grow the list with really high quality leads, you're actually getting a little bit robbed there. So I would be really, really careful, vetting carefully who you're doing with, seeing results that people got, asking big contributors that have been there for you to really assess if that is worth your time. Another good opportunity, I think, if you're on school and if you're well connected in the communities, is to be a guest speaker in communities where you have a complementary and not competing offer. That's also super high quality organic traffic, because you are right in someone's, buyer pool. You're literally speaking in front of people that are already paying for a community that need help with the problem that you can help them solve. So also a really, really high quality audience to tap into. So you just want to be mindful of that. I do have customers that have large email lists from Instagram Reels going viral, and then they have a ManyChat automation that delivers it. And we're seeing comparatively low sales from that. Always know with email, it is a long game. Like I told you, right? Somebody can come on your list and then they become a customer in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 1.5 years from now. But often the traffic quality can help to see that conversion a little bit quicker. So that's why you would also want to pay attention to it. Now, the second thing that the traffic quality is paired with is the filter quality. So you need to think about that thing that you're giving away. Is it really filtering the right type of people? I had freebies around Instagram growth, and I had coaching business planners and all kinds of templates. And some of my cheapest freebies were the least aligned with what I do. So right now I'm actually running a Facebook ads workshop about creating image ads mainly as my strategic freebie. And my cost per lead is 3 times as high as it was for my best converting, broader, more tangible freebie. But I'm super happy because I can convert these leads from the workshop quicker, and it's my kind of exact ideal client. Also thinking of, it's okay to pay more for a more qualified subscriber because you can monetize earlier. Now let's summarize, what does that mean if you have been thinking about, I need to grow my list, right? I need to start email marketing, but I'm completely overwhelmed. The first thing is that you need to take ownership. If you're the owner of the business, I want you to be head of email marketing, right? The lever is so big. Don't try to outsource that. It will not have the same effect. Become chief of email marketing, knowing that it has synergy with all other areas of your business. Next, consider where you already have a lot of traffic and where you can weave in a free offer to get people to subscribe to your email list. Consider what that free offer could be. A tangible strategic freebie like an ebook and templates and scripts and a planner and a journal and a workbook, they will always have higher subscribe rates. You need to make them highly, highly relevant for what you do. They really need to filter the right type of people. Otherwise, you're getting subscribers on your list that are not a good fit for what you offer. I personally love to do a workshop. You can also reframe that as a masterclass, or you can reframe that as a crash course or as a 90-minute something training. But what I do love about it is that we're getting a higher intent person. It's a person that is looking for education and that is looking to take action, and they're opting in to immediately spend 60 to 90 minutes with you, which can very much help to accelerate that slow monetization but beautiful compound of the email list. So that's what I would recommend for you, especially if you already have a ton of clarity. So inject a lead magnet wherever you already have a lot of traffic. Now, if you can, I would have these opt-ins go to separate lists so you can measure over time where your subscribers are coming from, and you can optimize these efforts. I would also strongly consider to use Facebook ads to grow your email list. Now, I wish I could say something differently, but I'm pretty convinced that we have a closing opportunity window with Facebook ads, and I'm not sure what the next year will look like, and I'm not sure if in 3 years from now the opportunity is recognizable, if anything. So I'm pouring a lot of money into growing my email list right now and pulling everything out of Facebook that I can, because I don't know how long it will work like this anymore. So it's a closing opportunity window, but it's still there. And if you get your lead generation campaigns up and running quickly, you can grow automatically every single day. I'm growing currently over 100 people every single day on my email list, and I'm just looking for ways to spend more without driving my cost up, which is, why I'm creating a ton of creative volume and eventually even doing a second workshop. So I'm hyper focused on leveraging this, in my opinion, closing opportunity window of getting leads off of Facebook. So consider that as well. Now, when they come on your email list, no fancy automation. All we need is one email. I call it the Everything I Do email. And it's literally just that. You're introducing people to you. You give the thing that was promised, and you're telling them everything that you do. You link to all your offers, you link to your YouTube channel, other free resources that are relevant for them, and you're immediately hitting them with, this is me, this is everything I do. After that, you provide your highly valuable nurture emails born from your Loom transcriptions, but refined to make sure that you're saying the most meaningful things that you can say. And in an ideal world, you do this in the beginning daily, right? Till you've established a routine, and then multiple times a week whenever you have something meaningful to say. And then, of course, when you want to sell something, you're thinking about that sales sequence. You can orient yourself on that template that I have. And every single day, you're leaning into one of those themes, promoting your offer to your email list. That's literally all there is. If you don't have it set up yet, go with MailerLite. I'm just switching over from Active Campaign. It's getting just way too expensive and it has technical glitches on my end. MailerLite is free to get started with. I think it's very intuitive, very user-friendly. If you can use Canva, you can use MailerLite. And if you're struggling, with the domain verification or DMARC setup, consider hiring someone on Fiverr. But search for a YouTube video first. It's no rocket science. You'll be able to do it. And then the next time something like this comes up, the TikTok ban is maybe actually real the next time, or maybe it's also real this time, or, big algorithm change on Google, or big algorithm change on YouTube, big algorithm change on Instagram. Now all the TikTokers are floating over to Instagram and they're sabotaging your Reels performance. You can sit back and you can tell all the people that are scrambling and try to figure it out, email marketing. I told you so. All right. If you want to learn more about my audience growth strategy for 2025 and the 2 channels that I'm also focusing on top of email marketing, then click this video here. And I hope to see you there or in the next one. Bye for now.